Peace, my name is Brother Pili X. I'm the co-founder and director here at the Pili Peace Park. Right here we got our beautiful pavilion, which should be done very soon. I've been a member of the Peace Park since day one, and around 2015, along with the director, Brother Tommy Joshua, or the executive director, Tommy Joshua, we realized the need, along with our team, we realized the need of having our own independent institutions. Well, even before that, we realized that there was a need to have independent institutions within our community. And one of the primary institutions within our community is the schools. So back in 2015, we started to gather educators, knowing that at this very moment, the Philadelphia School District is performing at a very low rate, like one of the lowest rates in the country. So 2015, we went and we directly sought and recruited architect students, design students, urban planning students. We specifically went to different universities. One of the primary universities we worked with back in 2015 when we started to recruit different designers, because we're looking at we see people being displaced out of their homes, we see the schools being closed, we see the different neighborhoods and how different people are coming to the neighborhoods, starting to do the urban planning for the different neighborhoods. We need to recruit these students that eventually get these jobs, and we need them on the side of the Peace Park, the side of community-based organizations, revolutionary organizations, because they'll be the ones, in 2014, that'll be designing the new buildings or the new schools or the new neighborhoods that's going to be displacing people or whatnot. So we went to University Penn. This program we partnered with was called Diverse Design, and it was a group of dope, bright architect students, and we recruited them, into the Peace Park. And we got to work telling them, some of the things we wanted. Like, we wanted to build a school here on the Peace Park's land. We told them, things we wanted the Peace Park to be more walkable, to have walkable paths, to have more benches, to have an area for play for children. And this group of students, it was a mixed group, some mainly black women from what I remember, some Caucasian students, and I believe some other students of other backgrounds. We pulled them in, and from that group we began to work solely with the students of the black students, which was a group of black women, and we just began to work with them, and we still kept a strong relationship with just the University of Penn students specifically, but we pulled these black students who are black women in even closer. And from there we just begin to think about different things that we wanted, different things that the community wanted, different things that them as architect students and design students, or urban planning students, because they would eventually go into different fields from their architect classes. We begin to think about how they could help us make this space and what we call right here at Peacetown even better. So from there we had different phases or different variations of what you see right here. One of the first variations was like a really dope small, even smaller than this, was a even smaller pavilion. But one of the first things we worked on with these students, these architect students, was we did a real big, a huge build. So we partnered with University of Penn, we partnered with Lowe's, we brought in other partners from different, with different backgrounds as far as carpentry and things of that nature, and we did a huge build. We built something called Imagination Land for children. So think about a playground, but not the typical playground. We built it out of tires, used tires, and these tires were set up strategically where students will have to actually use their imagination to play on them. So not your typical playground where you could just go up the slide and climb up the monkey bars, but these tires were placed in different parts, and the children would come out and they would create different games from these different tires and how they was placed. We created a walking path. with bricks. We created a bunch of different seating areas out of tires and also wood. We used a lot of used tires because if you're familiar with North Philly and Philadelphia in general, it's a huge dumping problem, and that's one of the reasons why even the Philly Peace Park started, is to clean up the vacant land. It's a huge dumping problem with tires, and once you know, a lot of people don't know what to do with the used tires. So we went in to the nastiest vacant lots you could think of and pulled out these used tires, and we reutilized them. That was like the first phase, this huge build. Then from there, you know, over the years, we worked with the students and just, you know, strategically trying to plot and plan how this pavilion would eventually look. We had many different community meetings at the UNIA, which is a few blocks from here. We held community meetings at Cecil B. Moore Library, a few blocks from here. We held community meetings here. It was a long process, you know, just getting just making sure, you know, the Peace Park, as you know, the people that's down with the Peace Park, like things we wanted implemented within the pavilion was there, getting the community's feedback, getting other people from other organizations who may have, you know, feedback, just getting feedback from every which place we can, which we call like a democratic process of design and building. So it's been like since 2015. When we first started the process, and now it's 2024, and we're working with Youth Build. Youth Build is a very strong partner of ours that's helping us build the pavilion right now. This pavilion, this school that we're building, is outside of the traditional way you would think about, you know, schools. You know, you think about the traditional way of schools, you think about, you know, a K through 12 system, you think about the private school, charter school, public school. This is an independent school, you know, that we're building, so it's going to be open to any children. You know, we definitely want to focus on that area, you know, that 3rd to 5th grade area where they say, you know, if this child doesn't have basic mathematics skills or basic English or comprehension skills by, you know, that age, you know, that 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, you know, they're going to need to be put into a prison when they get, you know, 18, 19, 20. And there's definitely studies out there that say that. So we want to focus on that area, but it's going to be open to any child in our community that needs a space. We've been not messing, but we've been thinking about different models and ways that this institution could be run. Could be drop-in, you know, the words though, you know, children come here after school to further their education. They may do homework, or they may get into trades, or they may get into you know, various sciences, technologies, you know, engineering, architecture, to further their education. This may be a space in the future where people who choose to homeschool their children have a space, a solid location they could come in. This could be the homeschool location where they have various like homeschool networks, you know, so this may be that location. We're open to various models of education outside of the traditional model of education for the youth, but also just adult education, because we have a lot of like very bright and intelligent adults, even seniors, who may want to further their education, further their learning, get into different trades, or just even have a safe space they could be at, you know, so they don't have to be on the street or be in a house. So this school, and you know, why we built it, and even why we named it what we named it, the Sala Keturah STEM Pavilion, named after two like great pioneers, revolutionaries in the city of Philadelphia, who did a lot, you know, during their time here on Earth. You know, their ancestors now, we felt as though, you know, it's only right to name the school after them for the things they've done for the community, which just goes into also just not following the traditional model. The traditional model is, you know, name your school after, you know, a European. But we named our school after, you know, two heroes of ours within, you know, the black community, the revolutionary community, the journalist community. They were journalists, the hip hop community. So they represented many communities, but just you know, bringing that tradition and into naming our institutions after our own people. So when I was a teenager, late teens, I used to see, you know, a lot of dope things going on around the city. Sala amongst, you know, our executive director, Tommy Joshua, and a few others was like some of the older folks, not too older, but they were definitely older than me. And I used to come to their different events, their hip hop events, you know, their community events. So Sala was one of those folks. I knew him as like a journalist. He was like a revolutionary journalist. So you think about the journalism that happens today, a revolutionary independent journalist. Used to develop these dope magazines that used to come out, maybe quarterly, I'm not sure. But it used to be everything happening in hip hop, but also everything happening in the community, like here locally, but things happening around the world. So he was like a real intelligent journalist here in the city, but also just like feet on the ground revolutionary. Keturah was also a journalist, amongst a prominent member of the hip hop community, the b-boy, b-girl community here in Philly. The journalism that Keturah was doing was not only around like hip hop, you know, the graffiti, the DJing, the b-girling and b-boying, the MCing, but also just around just like, you know, your local news, your local CNN, but from an independent aspect, just covering the things happening within the community. So Sala Keturah, and I'm also close, I'm close friends, close comrades to, you know, the Peace Park, Sala and Keturah, and who are both ancestors now. So definitely just keeping their names and their legacies alive or whatnot. It's been, so being here from day one at our original location, 24th and Bolton, about a block and a half away from here, it's been so much change around this community here in Peacetown. You know, you had the Bloomberg projects, the historic Bloomberg projects that were here when we first started, which are no longer here. You had a lot of lifelong residents who live just within maybe 2 or 3 blocks of the Peace Park who are no longer here due to the rapid development that has happened within the past, you know, 12, 13 years. Even going out a little further, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks, you know, lifelong members being displaced or, you know, brought out of their homes. You still have a lot of people who are here, a lot of people who have like refused to leave, that have stayed, or a lot of people who have owned their homes. But a lot of people who were probably renting homes, you know, the landlord sold. So as far as development, a lot of development happened. Even a lot of development here at the Peace Park. But even here, you know, the development of the Peace Park and the development of, you know, calling this space where we live Peacetown, this space where we gather Peacetown, us reclaiming and utilizing these abandoned homes on our block for a space like this house right here, which will be a co-working space for studios in the future. It'll be a space where you could come and we'll have our health and wellness studio. And if you're having issues like maybe domestic violence issues within your relationship, you can sit down with a certified domestic violence counselor, or you may need to see a clinical therapist. You know, we have people on our team who have these certifications and these backgrounds where you can sit down with them. You may be an artist and you may need to, you know, a space to use for to do your sculpting work, and you could come here and, you know, do that type work within the studio. It'll also be the future of our cafe, our Green Wall Street business, which is now right here, but eventually, you know, we want to have, you know, a cafe. People come in and buy, you know, coffee and teas, but also smoothies probably. So yeah, that's how the space has changed. Us building the pavilion has given you 2 has given you the contrasts between, like, you know, reactionary design, reactionary construction and building, reactionary development that has displaced hundreds of people, development that doesn't have, you know, the community centered, versus development that has been directly designed for the community, for the people in the community. Development that has went through a democratic process over the years of, you know, having input from the youth all the way to the seniors, to the elders. It's been a democratic process all the way through. So, you know, reactionary development versus democratic, people-centered, revolutionary development. You kind of see right here in Peacetown with, you know, you see the development right down the street versus development right here. So you kind of see the contrast, you know, and even the battle that's happening right for y'all. You might not even think it's a battle, but it is a battle over space and over land. Which leads us to May Day, where this May Day, where you know, having a huge gathering here at the Peace Park. We got a coalition of different organizations, different people, community members gathering, and we call them for land justice, and also the end of occupations, you know, from Philadelphia to overseas, the different countries where it's like occupations happening in different countries, but also just right here, because a lot of people think about the occupations and the wars going on in different countries, but a lot of times we forget to think about, like, the occupations that's happening right here with police, you know, constantly harassing and abusing power, politicians constantly harassing and abusing power, but also the land issue, because, like, you know, not making no more land unless they go to Mars or the sun or the moon. So it's a huge battle over land, not only here in Philadelphia, but also like urban cities and other cities and black cities all around the country, where, you know, we're fighting and advocating for space of our own to, you know, build, you know, homes, but also institutions where our children can go to school, but also community centers. So May 1st, here, Philly Peace Park, 2200 Jefferson Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.